photography, our favorite focal length is 35mm. And of course, the favorite lens is the 35mm 1.4. This is due to the versatility that 35mm focal length gives when combined with a wide open aperture of f1.4. It literally allows you to shoot anything and everything, wherein the depth of field is not just dependent upon your aperture choice, rather it is dependent upon the distance between the subject and the camera. Even before I begin my review, I have to tell you this. This is one of the finest 35mm lenses I've ever used, and trust me, I have used many of them. What is up YouTube? This is 2K from 2kphotography.com, and today I'm reviewing yet another Tamron lens, the 35mm 1.4. In this review, we are going to look at the performance of this lens in terms of the sharpness, the autofocus speed and accuracy, as well as the build quality and some of the special features of this lens. This is a lens from the SP series. SP series is a legacy that celebrated its 40th anniversary in 2019. For Tamron, SP series means a pledge to create the absolute best in lens optics, to ensure that the most critical photographic applications have the right gear to match. It all started with the legendary Tamron 90mm macro lens. Tamron 35mm 1.4 continues a long legacy of lenses that SP series has brought into the world. Coming to the build quality of this lens, it's very sturdily built, just like a flagship lens should be built. The filter thread on the front of the lens is 72mm, and approximate weight for a Canon unit of this lens is roughly 800 grams. In terms of the construction of the lens, it has a moisture resistant construction like the rest of the flagship lenses from the Tamron lineup, and it has moisture resistant gaskets across the length of the lens. It also has a fluorine coating on the front element of the lens to resist fingerprint and dirt. To test out the performance of this lens, we set up a shoot with our beautiful model Rupali, and the shoot happened at the Grand Uniara Hotel in Jaipur. We were shooting multiple dresses, and also we were shooting in all sorts of conditions. Absolute dark areas, then brightly lit areas, indoors, outdoors. So this shoot was a mix of all such conditions, and that allowed me to test this lens thoroughly. Keep in mind that my experience with this lens is limited to my usage of this lens with the Canon EOS R5, which is in itself a formidable camera. R5 is a mirrorless Canon camera that has an RF mount. So I was adapting this lens using the official EF to RF adapter from Canon. Not for a moment I felt that this lens was adapted. Everything with respect to the autofocus accuracy, the autofocus speed, made me feel as if I'm using a native lens. And that by itself is a testimony to how amazing the lens is. From the entire bunch of images that I got, near zero were out of focus. Can you believe it? Near zero. I mean, the only reason why I'm not saying zero is because what if I missed something while checking the images? Otherwise, every single image that I checked was in focus. And even when zoomed in, the kind of image sharpness and detail that I was seeing was phenomenal. And not just sharpness, the quality of background bokeh is just, I mean, there are no words to define it. It just looks beautiful. Even when shooting video, the lens autofocus system held on to the eye very accurately. There are various technologies in this lens that work together to create this level of quality and detail in the photographs. Not everything is visible to the naked eye, but at the back, inside the lens, is where all of these things play magic when they are put together and combined in the form of this lens. For instance, this is one of the first few lenses to feature the new and advanced BBAR2 coating. This coating greatly reduces ghosting and flare, especially when shooting directly into the sun or any other bright light source, and it renders the subject in accurate detail. Coming to the construction of the lens, this lens has 4 LD elements and 3 GM elements. Combined together, the LD elements reduce the chromatic aberration in the pictures, and the GM elements are responsible for the pristine quality at the corners. Also, the reduction in the axial chromatic aberration in the lens construction means that the bokeh that is rendered is very pleasing to the eye. This lens is also compatible with the tap-in console from Tamron. This allows you to do seamless firmware upgrades to this lens. A year back, the lens was not compatible with the image stabilization system on the Canon EOS R5, but Tamron released a firmware update last year to fix this, and now it works flawlessly. This lens also features a hood lock, which allows you to securely attach the lens hood to the lens. When doing autofocus, this lens also allows a full-time manual focus override. So if you need to make minute adjustments, you can always do that without switching to manual focus. A huge shout out to Tamron for providing me this lens for review, and to my beautiful model Rupali for helping me set up the shoot. Hope you liked the review. Thank you so much for your time, and in case you have any questions pertaining to this lens, please feel free to drop a comment below and I would be happy to answer your queries. If you wish to read more about this lens, there are some links in the description that might be helpful to you. Please do consider subscribing to the channel to see more such reviews in the future. Have a fab day.